man.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. That's the one.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining me for the very first episode of The Hot Seat. With me, Brian Harmon, owner and operator of the Craft Emporium, located at the Rainbow Row Building, West Chillicothe Avenue in Bellefontaine. I'm joined today on this very first episode by a good friend of mine who's also the co-founder and co-owner of Ohio's #1 craft beer bar, Brew Fountain, and the Syndicate, a fine dining establishment right next to it, and event center. Jeremy Fitz Fitzpatrick. Thank you very much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brian.
No, my pleasure. So for anyone that's watched the popular podcast Hot Ones on Hulu and YouTube, you're familiar with this concept. We're mimicking this from start to finish. I'm going to have this conversation with Fitz today. We're going to talk about a variety of things, all the while eating increasingly hot chicken wings. The wings today were provided by Ron's Pizza, also located at South Main Street, Bellefontaine, Ohio. If you haven't been to Ron's lately, they've recently changed their wing recipe. They're bigger, great flavor, and certainly worth checking out. Latrell Clark, the new owner, has taken the wings to a new level, and I can't wait to get into these today. The sauces are all available here at the Craft Emporium. About 2 months ago, I partnered with Eric Brown, owner of Urbane Farm, and he makes his own sauces, and he has exclusive license to sell Heatonist sauces that are popular on the show Hot Ones. So we'll be trying a lot of the same sauces that you'll see on the Hot Ones podcast. So Fitz, before we get started, how are you with hot food? Do you normally order the spicy dish at the restaurant when you go out with your family?
Absolutely not. No, this is not my thing. Kind of scared, to be honest with you. If I do order like spicy wings, for instance, I usually will get like another sauce mixed in to dilute it because a lot of the spicy sauces are really tasty, but I just can't handle it.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm the same way. I'm a medium guy, so we're going to go through this pain together.
All right, let's do this.
Without further ado, let's do number one. Now, do you consider yourself a chicken wing aficionado?
Absolutely. Constantly cooking chicken wings in different ways at home. If it's on a menu, I'm ordering it. There's a lot of R&D that goes into what I do. So,
Well, you're the perfect first guest then. I love chicken wings too. The first bite, fantastic. And that's pretty good wing sauce too.
Yeah. Fairly harmless.
Yeah. If you're a medium sauce person, this Urbane Farm wing sauce is perfectly set up for you. So this was a great starter sauce for us. Yeah. All right, wing number 2. So far, so good. I don't feel the pain on that one. Los Calientes Barbacoa is that flavor. That one has been
smoky?
Yeah, it's smoky. It's nice.
It's very good.
It's been on the show a couple of seasons, I think. So you have, most people probably don't know, have orchestrated an event called Nug Pong. For everyone that is not familiar with that event, how did that get started, and what's that experience of that event like?
I wouldn't say that I orchestrated it. My friends Matt and Braden, who may or may not be behind the cameras right now, that's one of their events. I think that it looked super fun. I wanted to be a part of it, so I kind of helped them do it because I'm too much of a sissy to actually get into it and all those sauces. So hats off to you for somehow convincing me to do this, because I've told them no many times. But it is basically beer pong with a lot of these sauces that we're eating today in the cups instead of beer. Popcorn chicken instead of a ping pong ball. People really get into it. Costumes,
There's
personas,
There's a title belt.
title belt, walkout music, commentators. It's gotten kind of extreme. So
How many years have you guys done this?
You'll have to ask them. Maybe they'll
Okay.
be on the show someday because they've probably done some before I was there.
Gotcha. Well, sounds like a fun event that would prepare anybody for this, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Wing number 3. So, a lot of people know you as the owner of Brew Fountain. What did you do before you opened Brew Fountain?
Well, immediately before I opened Brew Fountain, worked at a local fireplace shop where I was the only employee. Did just the owner and I. We both did sales, installs, services. I did that for about 8 years. Getting out there, being the guy selling it to you, and then getting on your icy roof all winter and sweeping the chimney or whatever have you from that product. Gas fireplaces or whatever. It was wild. I had a lot of fun doing it.
So going from chimney sweep to bar owner, was that an easy transition for you?
I had no idea what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm here, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right. Because you've been doing this about 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Your Brew Fountain just
Yep.
celebrated its 8th birthday.
Yeah, last week.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wing number 4. That's a nice reprieve. So during the planning stages of Brew Fountain, as you're getting started, could you ever have imagined, or did you imagine, that Brew Fountain would be as popular and as successful as it is today?
I mean, no, not at all. I can remember sitting around with my business partners, just looking at, the cost of doing business and wondering how the hell we were going to sell enough beers to pull this off every month. And it seemed impossible, and we went all in and we built a great team, and it worked. It worked well. It still is. So the town took great care of our business, especially our Milk Club members there.
Mm-hmm.
They're incredibly supportive, and we're very grateful.
There wasn't much of a craft beer culture in Bell Fountain before you guys started. What gave you the confidence that you could create something out of nothing?
It was kind of coming in all around us, in the bigger cities around us, and we kind of are outliers. We could see it. We were driving all over, going to places with great beer, music, food, all of that stuff. And we were running into people from Bell Fountain when we got there. We were seeing it, and I may have told you this story recently, but I was working my old job. We were doing construction on the building, and I was driving by my work truck, and I saw somebody had written something on our front window, like in dust and debris. I pulled over, I ran up, and it said, "I can't fucking wait for this place to open," on the dust. And it made me feel so good.
Yeah.
And the next day I was driving by, and I could just see from the road somebody had wiped it off and drew a huge dick and balls on the window.
Oh.
And I was
So
like,
really
"Fuck."
a real
It's
roller
still,
coaster.
yeah, it's still
Yeah.
still Bell Fountain.
It's-
But here we are.
it worked.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where the dick and balls guy is today with all your success.
Hey, you know what? I hope we converted him into a customer or her. You know, I don't know, but the fingerprints are way gone right now. So
What is that?
Wing 5.
it's a big wing. I hope this isn't hot. It's got a lot of surface area.
It's hot.
Shake it a little.
Clean.
Right there, baby.
Yeah, that's clean. So when did your love for craft beer begin? Like, what was that first craft beer that made you think, hey, this is different than anything else?
Love that you asked me these when I still have wings in my mouth.
Yes. Sean Evans is my inspiration.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah,
classic.
Great job. Done your research.
Yes.
Probably around 2002 or 2003. You know, I was drinking a lot of Natty Light.
Yeah.
Some Michelob Light. I could scrape together a few extra bucks. Those nice curvy
Oh, yeah.
bottles, you remember those?
Sexy bottles.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I did when I had extra money.
Right.
Somehow I ended up with a 6-pack of Sierra Nevada Celebration, which love to this day.
Yeah.
'Tis the season right now.
Currently available at the Craft Emporium.
Mm-hmm. And at that time, my uncle and my dad were in the early stages of like home brewing.
Mhm.
And I'm drinking this beer and I'm like, okay, I want to make this. We dug up a clone recipe on the internet and it actually turned out really good.
Really?
Or my foggy memory of 20 years ago thinks that it did.
That's awesome. All right, wing number 6. Starting to get real on us there.
Turn up the heat a little bit.
Yeah, we turned up the heat.
Mhm.
So to extinguish this heat, we've got some things here to drink. We both chose beer that maybe was one of our favorites that we wanted to talk about, whatever it was. Tell me about the beer that you're drinking right now.
Well, after that last wing, I can tell things are getting kind of serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what this beer tastes like. But I did choose a beer called 0K Fun Run. I think you know it well.
I do.
You've probably had a few. It's a collaboration with you, Craft Emporium, Brew Fountain, Roundhouse Brewing that's down the street, and Derive Brewing Company in Clintonville.
Yeah.
And we did a wacky, not quite 1K run, we'll call
Right,
it.
it was under 1K.
Where, we featured this beer. Everybody got 3 pints.
Yeah.
And, man, it was a blast.
It was a super fun event.
Yeah.
The guys from Derive are awesome. They were great to hang with that day. And they make really good beer. I went through 10 cases of that beer in 3 weeks. Bell Fountain absolutely embraced it. And because it was, it doesn't hurt that we're on the can.
Seriously, look at this. Which camera you want this? Let's get them all. The sex appeal that's on this can.
Even the older version of me, I think, was effective in making people want that beer.
What's that character, you think?
Old Steamboat Harmon.
Steamboat
my
Harmon.
3 times great grandfather, I think, is the photo they used.
Yeah.
But my vanity aside, it was a super awesome event. Great beer, really cool. For me, being new into the business, to be on a can of beer in my first year, and this was a pretty cool moment.
Your calves look great on there.
Wow, hey,
Regardless.
that's right. I'm drinking Juicy Ass IPA from Flying Monkey. Flying Monkey's in Barrie, Canada. I had a chance to tour that brewery over the summer. It was a trip you couldn't make for very important reasons, but being able to go up there, meet Peter and Andrea Sciallo, talk about the beer that they make, and it's this is always available here, exclusively at the Craft Emporium. It's the #1 selling IPA in Ontario, and it's really great beer, and I think it goes really good with spicy food. So that's what I'm using today, along with maybe some milk and water if we get really desperate.
Starting to linger, man.
Yeah, this one we can tell we've turned the corner
Certainly.
on this one. So, I had a chance to meet Peter Sciallo at Flying Monkeys, who was really awesome guy, interesting guy. Who would you say is the most interesting person in craft beer that you've had a chance to meet?
Turn up the heat.
Yeah.
Probably the most interesting person that I've met in the craft beer world is probably Sam Calagione from Dogfish Head.
Yeah.
So me and the guys went out to JBF, maybe 2019-ish. Went to a little seminar he's putting on. We were there for hours. He's got a lot to teach everyone. I mean,
He's on the Mount Rushmore.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I remember him talking about like he worked at a Mexican restaurant that had a handful of craft beers on tap, and it made him interested. So he went home, tried to make some, and now he's just a juggernaut, making 300,000 barrels of beer a year, distilleries, restaurants, writing books. I think he won a James Beard Award.
And he created the term Imperial. Did you know?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure there's all
commonly
kinds-
used phrase in craft beer.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Imperial,
all kinds
All-Star
of
was
things
saying,
like that.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a great seminar, and got to hang out, shake hands, have a couple beers with them afterwards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wing number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That one's real.
It's got that thing.
Yep. It's got that. It's got that. It's got that. So craft beer has gone through a decade of double-digit growth, and that has slowed down in the past year or so. Do you think that is that remnants of the pandemic in 2020, or has craft beer finally reached its level of this is what it is now? It's it's reached its zenith. This is who it is.
Mhm.
What do you see the future of craft beer from this point forward?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, there's a ton of breweries out there. It's hard to even shop sometimes. There's so much to look at, but definitely since the pandemic, consumers are different. they have different habits. They're shopping differently. Numbers are just down across the board, whether it's craft beer or whatever the case.
Yeah. And beer had been an industry that was shrinking a little bit anyway.
Mhm.
Craft beer's growth was really taking from the macro market,
Absolutely.
and now that it's stopped doing that, what do you think is the future of craft beer?
I think it'll be around forever. It's a matter of how many of these breweries will be a part of that.
Right.
I think we're looking at the big dogs with countrywide distributions on the shelves, and probably a lot of the smaller guys with low overhead.
Yeah.
I think
It's those breweries that have statewide distribution and maybe 2, 3, 4 tap rooms
Yeah.
seem to be the ones that are struggling the most right now.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wing 8.
Wow. I thought the last one was bad. That one's tearing me up. I want to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. A lot of people don't know that you are a huge fan of the band Outkast.
Mhm.
What is it about Outkast that resonated with you so much that you became that big of a fan?
Shooey. That's a good one. I don't know. They were just different, They weren't. I was probably 14, 15 maybe when I heard Outkast for the first time.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard anything like it. There was a lot of, they were using guitar and auto tune at the time.
Yeah.
Things that maybe weren't even popular for another 10 years or so. It was just unique, and I really enjoyed it.
You're hanging
Still do.
really well with this one.
I'm faking.
Like, I feel like I'm worse off than you.
Mm-hmm. You look great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Wing 9.
Never forgive you for this.
It's definitely one of the dumbest ideas I've had. But we're learning a lot about my friend, and that is worth it. Your son Leo just turned 6 months. Congratulations to you and Mackenzie.
Thank you.
What has him coming into your everyday life, how has that changed you?
Tons. I mean, people always say kids change everything, and I've listened to people say it forever. It's absolutely right. Brew Fountain and the Syndicate take a ton of time and mental space altogether, and and I can still slow it down. I think I'm learning a little patience. Don't ask Mackenzie if she thinks that's true. But it's I wouldn't trade it for anything. That's absolutely incredible.
He's 6 months. How big is the beard so far on him?
We actually every morning when we all wake up together, it's the first thing we check for to see if he has a whisker.
The whiskers.
Yeah. Nothing yet. But also my father-in-law Kyle, he had a beard knitted for him, loops over his ears, just in case it took a little longer for his beard to grow in than we thought. But it looks great on him.
It's a beard prosthetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like
I never thought of it like that.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Well, we've reached the end. We have one wing left. It is, of course, as is custom on hot ones, and will be custom in the hot seat, the last dab. So it's already been coated in this, but the process is we add one last dab to the wing, if we can get it out of here, just as a ceremonial. There it is. That's a man-size dab. Fitz, thank you very much
You're welcome.
for for joining me on the first ever hot seat. Hopefully folks have learned a little bit about you, have learned a little bit about the hot sauces, and I can't wait for the next person to sit in there and feel this same pain.
I
So
hope I get to watch them.
you'll be right with me everywhere. So cheers.
Brother. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Oh wow.
That one's got that thing.
Yeah.
It's got that thing on it. That's what they warn you about.
Yeah.